do I got a bottle feed first, so give me a minute, and I'll get a weight on this guy. So Robin already did weights next door and medicine, so I'm not going in that room tonight. So I'm going to do all updates from this room. We're going to get Nuggets weight, and I have some of the other kittens weights. I have the Greenies and the Monsters weights, and update on Tiara. And update on Greenie's eyes. It's not the noise machine, it's the heater that's on right now. Give me a second. Alright, I'm just temporarily turning off the heater so you can hear me better. Alright, nugget is 5.1 ounces. I'm gonna just come. Are you growling at me? Are you growling at me? You're hissing at me? I was gonna come sit here. Can I sit here? I know it's too hard to try to sit there. You're knocking this over. You're okay. You're alright. It's okay. Alright, that's just too hard to try to sit there. Okay. You're okay. You're right. Alright, No, Nugget does not have any peepers. Okay, so let's get some of the other weights. All right, so we have Greenie's weights. Okay, Pickles is 1 pound, 11.3 ounces. Nugget looks absolutely no different than he looked several days ago. Oops. Okay, Miles. Miles is 1 pound, 14.1 ounces. Katie is 1 pound, 12.4 ounces. And Emmy is 1 pound, 14.9 ounces. So the Greenies have a vet appointment this Thursday. I'm going to pick them up in the morning, take them to the vet, and then bring them back to foster. And I'm hoping I'm going to get in touch with Gma to see if it's at all possible for her to help out, because I really need adoption photos of them to post. And I don't have good adoption photos at all. So I'll try to get some at the vet when they're like out of the carrier, and I'm not sure whether I can bring them back here and try to get some pictures or what. But just while I have them with me, I'm going to try to get some cute photos of them, of each of them. I asked Ashley about their eyes, and Emmy and Miles' eyes, she says, look fine, like normal. So that's good news that they cleared up. And she said Katydid's eyes are cloudy, and she doesn't think that she can see because she runs into things a lot. So they were pretty cloudy when when at intake when she arrived. So, but they weren't necessarily very crusty. They were just very cloudy. So we'll have the doctor on Thursday take a look at her eyes and determine whether, if she can see or if anything needs to be done. And then Pickle's eyes, she said, have, how does she phrase it? Pickles has red things on his eyeballs, but no crust. So I'm not sure what red things on his eyeballs means. It could be like if you've seen the photos of Figgy, his right eye has what you would call red things, because he had an ulcer that ruptured. So I don't know if that's what she's talking about. It's just impossible for me to know what red things are. So again, we'll have the vet take a look at his eyes on Thursday and see if anything needs to be done. Figure out what these red things are that she's describing. Mama Ivy has been healthy since she arrived, so I don't expect her to have any health problems. But it sounds like, at least those two kittens might have some vision impairments. So we'll see what happens with that on Thursday, and I'll have an update after their vet appointment to see whether they need to see an ophthalmologist or whether the primary vet can just diagnose them and, come up with a plan. So we'll have more information then. So that's our greenies update. She said that if she didn't already have 4 cats, she would totally want to adopt Pickles because he's a total ham. Apparently he's a really funny dude. So, it's a shame that we can't see them on cam, but obviously being at an off-site foster home, that's not possible. But he sounds like a character. Alright, so that's it with the greenies. Is there any questions about them? Look at Savanna watching me. She has the best facial expressions. Kittens this age are not able to retract their claws, so they get caught in lots of things. It's just part of the process. They get unstuck all by themselves. She does have the paisley bear face. That's exactly what her face is. All right, so let's get monsters weights. So that's all for the greenies. Monsters. Boo is 1 pound, 11.6 ounces. And then Sully, the beast, is 1 pound, 15.3 ounces. Liz described him as all belly and all fluff. Lil G, paying attention to the descriptions for Savanna. This is the kind of stuff to put in her bio. She'll tilt her head to try to figure out sounds. Yeah, Sully is out of control. So we really need to find adopters for the greenies, who are quickly coming up on 2 pounds, and the monsters, who are quickly coming up on 2 pounds, and the Downtons, who are coming up on 2 pounds. All 3 groups will but I did. Oh my goodness. It's because I was laying on a cord. Ridiculous. Commercial break. Sorry. Okay. Whoops. Whoopsie. I was laying directly on the cord and unplugged it. Yep, not Gmo's fault. Totally my fault. It is something that Gmo would do, but she didn't do it. Alright, so I was just saying we should have hopefully this weekend we should have most of the adoption bios up and running. And that includes the two moms, Ivy and Savannah, not Savannah. Why is it being Savannah go up? She's still, this group is not ready for adoption yet. Okay, so I guess that leads me to talking about moms. So that leads me to, you're fine. You're fine. I just wanted to move that. You're fine. Tiara. So, I spoke with one of the leaders of Kitty Junction tonight, and we talked about some, the different possibilities of what it would look like if they took responsibility for Tiara and we transferred her into their rescue. So, so there's a couple reasons that I was considering this, and one is because the rescue operates out, they partnership with a cat cafe in Doylestown, where they have adoptable cats that go and people get to interact with them, and so and they hold adoption events there. Tiara was actually at the adoption event they held yesterday, and she did pretty well. So they have greater exposure where they are. They find a lot of local adopters around Doylestown. Doylestown is a very affluent town, and as are all of the towns around it in Bucks County. So there's very good homes that they find for their cats. And those are connections that we just don't have. We don't have direct connections to adopters up there, and we're just not known around in that area. So so it definitely would increase her chance of finding a good home to transfer her to this rescue. But I had asked for you guys to weigh in, and you had some good valid concerns and some questions about their adoption process, about their return policy, that sort of thing. So I'm really gonna focus on talking about those things with Kitty Junction, because those were sort of the main concerns that were brought up. So their adoption process, their screening is extremely similar to ours. They do vet checks. They actually go further than we do, where they do 2 reference checks, and they hold the adoption in the adopter's home. So they bring the cat to the adopter, and that's actually their final home check. They consider that a home check, because when they get there, it really does not seem like a safe place for the cat to be, then they won't go through with the adoption. So they're extremely thorough with their adoption screening and approval process. I was very impressed with that. They do have the same return policy as we do, where they take back a cat, no questions asked, for the life of the pet. They have the same setup that we do with microchips, where, the cats do get microchipped, and the secondary contact is the organization itself. So if the microchip is ever scanned somewhere, let's say at a shelter or something, the rescue would be contacted, which is the same setup that we have for all of our cats. They get microchipped and we're set up as the secondary contact. So that prevents the situation where unknowingly they end up at a shelter somewhere and the rescue never finds out. So it prevents that situation from happening. If heaven forbid they did ever end up at a shelter, the rescue would be contacted. So that's that. It was all super good news hearing about it. And so I voiced my sort of last hesitation about it, which is, and I described Kitkat Playroom and how we're a community of people, and how our supporters follow these cats and get very attached. And when we have tried to do a transfer in the past, the cats did find a home right away, but it was a little disappointing not to be able to hear anything about the adopters, not to get updates at all, to just not know anything about what happened to them. And that's just sort of difficult for us to kind of stomach when we get so attached to them and invested in them. And this is where the really good news is. So she said, oh, I actually personally call the adopters, and she gets updates from them after they've adopted. She calls them, gets updates, and gets pictures from them. And I said, oh my goodness. And she said, oh, I can absolutely share pictures. Because they like to post the update photos in their newsletter. They have like adoption stories, and so it's important for them too to follow up and get updates. So she said, oh, we can absolutely share. She goes, I can send you the applications, of the adopter. I can send you the application itself, so that you can learn about the adopter. And then any updates we get, I'll share with you. And I said, that's amazing. That was really the final, my sort of final hesitation. And she made me feel great about everything. I mean, it truly sounds like there is no good reason not to do this. Everything sounds perfect. So we're gonna go through with that. So we're not gonna pay for her medical care going forward. So they are going to get her vaccines done, get her microchip done, at the vet that they use up there. They'll pay for that. Any vet care that she does need, they're gonna have, they're gonna get her get a fecal test, that sort of thing. They were gonna introduce 2 cats to her this week, but they're very safe about it, and so they actually want to get a fecal test on her, a negative one, back before they introduce her to any other cats. So they might push that off a little bit. But yeah, I mean, it just sounds like the perfect situation for her. So huge feeling of relief. I can't think of any reason not to move forward with it. It's certainly in the best interest of Tiara, and this organization sounds, wonderful. So, and I told her about, that we have things that are handmade and toys and everything that we normally send home with adopters, and she said, oh, absolutely, you can send that to us and we'll make sure she goes home with it. So, we'll still do a suitcase for her, and I'll just mail that up to Deb and make sure that goes home with her. So, so she still gets a suitcase from us. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm very happy that we'll get to just, continue getting updates on her, and we'll get to hear about her adoption hopefully soon. So that's pretty big news, and thank you all for, contributing your opinions and submitting questions, and, making sure that that we collectively came to a good decision about it. I thought a lot, the things that you were asking were very good, good questions that I was able to bring up. So I appreciate all of that input. They're a little far to be like regular partners. It was about an hour and a half drive up there, almost 2 hours to get home. It was not an easy trip. So I don't see it being a regular thing, but that's also why, it made a lot of sense to transfer her because of the distance involved. It just was like, I can't imagine any of our normal donor or our normal adopters here in New Jersey, making that hike to go get her that far. So, at least not without a lot of effort. Yeah, the people that are in Philly, yeah, Robin mentioned going, and Brandy said they're only about 20 minutes away from the cafe. So Liz made a comment that it might not be too far from her. So certainly anybody who wants to go visit, that would be an exciting trip. I didn't go to the cafe. I think the cafe might be closer than Deb's house. I think Doylestown is not as far as I went. Yeah. Okay. So I think those are all the updates I had. Let's see. Haven't heard anything about Biggie. Nothing on Jacoby. Ro has totally settled. Her latest story, she was nuzzled in her mom's arms, sound asleep, so she's totally fine where she is. wanted to play with that? She saw me playing with this on the floor. Just come play with it. Beep, 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 beep. You know, the cafe in downtown Philly, the one that we all went to, is closed. It didn't make it through COVID. Kauai Cafe is the one that a couple years ago, a bunch of us got together, met each other in person, and went to a cat cafe in Philly. And it didn't make it through COVID, and it tried to do a bunch of fundraisers and stuff and didn't make it. All right, guys. All right, I'm packing up. Getting out. So that's the news. Have a good night, everyone. Okay, Missy. Let's get these poopers out. Get you some water. Alright, I'll be right back. Get you some water. Okay, here's some water. Here. Here we go. Here we go. It's just water. No, it's not food. You have food. You already have food. Okay, good night.